What up, Grizz Nation, and welcome back to another Grizz 901. And listen, I'm on location today. I'm at the in-laws' house. Just watched the Grizzlies come down to a tip-in. It was very close. The Grizzlies ended up losing 117 to 115. And what ends up being the end of the season, end of the series. And can I just say to everybody, thank God. Like, nobody wants to see this team continue to compete against a Oklahoma City Thunder team that honestly plays a little dirty. The referees allowed them to get off with what they want to allow them to play defensively. But if I can say hello to all my Thunder friends, all of you ding dongs, guess what? It ain't going to last long because you will get beat in the next series. And the Thunder, you're going to have to grow up. So hello to all of you haters. We'll be here as we always are. But the Grizzlies do lose. And we're going to continue and have a lot of fun on a show that is going to at City Media and potentially the last episode forever as we walk away. But that's all I got. Nate's here. It's a beautiful Saturday. If you can tell behind me, the weather is glorious. Let's get to the show. Yo, what up, Nate? What up? Yeah, you're broken.
It's very dark and blue in here.
Well, listen, the Grizzlies end up going down 117 to 115. It was a game that, in all honesty, that the Grizzlies had a chance to win. They were down, they were up by 26 when at halftime, and they could not hold on to it when Ja Morant went out. The team showed a little heart. I don't know if that was, in my opinion, a game in the grindhouse with the Grizzlies, and they kind of just figured some things out and made things work on the back of Scottie Pippen Jr. Nonetheless, but or if it was a Thunder team that was just like, hey, we can figure out a way to beat these guys because we are healthy, because we are playing a dirty style of basketball, but we're healthy because nobody else is allowed to play dirty as well. And so them being healthy, are they able to just kind of coast in a game 4 sweep of the Grizzlies?
I don't think so, actually.
Okay.
I was on the last game. I was like, you could have your entire roster and not have them not have SGA, and I think you still lose the series. Bro, if Ja stays healthy, I think that thing's 2-2. If that play with Ja doesn't happen, I think this is 2-2, which is crazy to me. I would have never anticipated that. I thought it was going to be 4-0 all the way. But, dude,
for sure,
if Ja doesn't go down, Grizzlies obviously win game 3, right? That's said and done. Should have won it anyways. And then you get it to within a possession for this game. No Ja. You're getting called for basically every touch on the other end. You have 32 fouls to their 20. And you're still right there at the end of the game. You're telling me Ja Morant's not going to get you 2 extra points
right?
For that?
100%.
Yeah. Which again is wild to me, but that just stands by what I said. I think that they're going to. I'm anticipating the Clippers kind of close the series out in a hurry, especially with Westbrook and I believe Porter Jr. both out. I know Westbrook for sure out. I think the Clippers are going to give him all kinds of hell.
100%. And that's. Yeah, and that's what it will be. It'll be a game. It'll be a series, I think, that gets against the Clippers for the OKC Thunder. And I believe that just like Shedeur Sanders in the draft, it'll just kind of be lifeless. And that's what will be the Oklahoma City Thunder, in my opinion. But
too soon.
We do have another friend here that wants to hang out with us. So let's see if we can bring in, is it the third man? Do we have the third man to the show? Listen, we normally do not do this, but it is the last show. It's the last episode. And potentially, yeah, you're going the wrong way. You're going the wrong way.
No, I'm not.
So
I'll slide back in.
It being the last show of the season, we wanted to make sure we brought Ryan on here and allow him just to kind of say hello, but also a little bit of goodbye as well. But what's up, Ryan? How are you, man?
brought me on in just enough time for it to be over. So for my last time on here, I want to give an homage to how it started.
Oh,
So if you're an original OG Grizz 901er,
no doubt.
this is how it started.
I was going the
No
right
doubt.
way.
Yeah, no doubt.
But
That is how it started. If anybody doesn't realize, like back in the day, it was Ryan had terrible Wi-Fi service, and it was the Ryan Windhorse lookalike just kind of in his car sometimes as we were trying to do the show when Grizz I Don't Want to Start before we did post-game shows. And it was sometimes we had to turn the camera off because it was so laggy that I wasn't going to do that to everybody.
That's
Yeah, Ryan,
it was really bad.
Give out first.
But it's come a long way.
Yes.
I'm back in civilization. It's been a good year.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so I know you gotta leave here in a couple minutes, so I don't want to leave you too long. Have you on here too long? But one, let me know when you need to leave. First of all, I don't want to hold you. But second of all, your thoughts on the game, just as a whole, top to bottom. Was it the Grizzlies? They played much better, or do you think it was something where it was to the point of that the Oklahoma City Thunder just didn't care?
I would lean more towards the Thunder didn't care. Now, the Grizzlies did play extremely well. And yeah, it's been depressing. It seems like another depressing season part 2. But today is kind of like what you look forward to, right? Like I've been preaching to y'all, and the few times I've been on the show, like this was a 1 to 2 to even 3-year process for how young they were. And there were bright spots, right? Like Zach Edey had moments today. Vince Williams was like, oh, okay, where was that the previous 30 games? Scottie Pippen having 30. Like there's moments, right? Like Jalen Wells, if he's playing in the series, like there's a lot to look forward to. And I know it's been doom and gloom on the Twitter sphere. Where everybody's saying, blow it up. We have to reset. You don't have to do that. Like you're a 48-50 win team, couple breaks. You're playing Houston. Does that series look different? I mean, you were up almost 30 in game 3 on the team that's likely to make the finals with the best shot to win the NBA championship. And it was a freak accident away from that. So could they be 2-2? Potentially. Was it more likely to be 3-1? Yeah. But it was closer personnel-wise than I think people want to admit. There's not full rebuild away from this team. It is 2 guys maybe, depending on who they are. Like I do not see it as this is a Hail Mary, we have to tear it down to the studs. It's just not that situation to me, personally.
Okay. Well, everybody loves your Wi-Fi, and especially King Meeks. Ryan looks like he's in S&M Chambers / AOL Wi-Fi over here. I love that. And I am going to say it, and I'm going to say whatever I want on the show today because it's our last one. Who cares? What are they going to do? Not bring us back at this point? No, I wanted to make sure that everybody kind of got a chance to hear from you, but also just kind of say hello. And get your thoughts. I do want to ask you a question, and Nate, I have plenty of questions for you. We'll get through all this. But is there anything in your mind that sticks out from the show, or going back to you and Cody's free basketball days? Because that's obviously back in the day. So any thoughts just overall on Grizz 901 or your free basketball stuff? Because I know it's kind of come to an end as well. Maybe you don't realize it's coming to an end, but it's kind of come to an end.
Well, my co-host keeps saying he wants to bring it back, and then I don't hear from him for 2 or 3 weeks. So I just keep waiting for somebody to join me. But anyways, no, I think probably it's Nate's phrases that he might create, whether it's TWS or donged.
Donged
was my favorite thing to say 2 weeks after.
Wow.
That was just, I didn't know it could be a verb. And
obviously.
And so it was used plenty around the house where I had to stop because the children were picking it up. So, yeah.
I like it. I like it. Well, as Wayno says here, a silver lining, what we saw our team was really made of players who really have stones, trying to shed some dead weight. So going into next season, this will be my last question, and then you can get out of here. I know you need to leave here soon, but
Sure.
last question. Next season, do you expect across the board changes being made to the point of whether or not they get, whether or not they come back with Tumas Isolo? I want to know your opinion about that. If they make changes across the board to one of the big three. But
Okay.
last thing is, what changes do you think they make, or free agency, or anything crazy that they would make to the lineup before we go into next season? So 3 questions, last 3 questions ever. What you got?
So Tuomas, I'm not going to be able to pronounce it right.
Isolo.
I think he's fine. He's going to need time. So then the question becomes, what is your timeline for this team? Obviously, I'd rather have somebody who's proven, right? Like somebody like JVG, Jeff Van Gundy, or, someone like that who's been there a long time. I mean, a lot of coaching is your staff. And we saw that this year with Taylor Jenkins. They brought in a whole new staff that he's not used to, tried to switch to an offensive side, and probably the infighting within that staff. There was obviously heads butting, right, which reached all the way up the climb and affected the team. So I think more so, obviously the coach is important, but the staff is just as important, right? So I think they go hand in hand to me. If they go with a different coach, what is that staff he's bringing in? If it's a seasoned head coach, he's likely to bring a seasoned staff in, which would be ideal. If it's Isolo, he's probably going to bring some Euro buddies, and it's going to be a whole new staff, and they're going to need a year or two to figure it out. Like it just is. The coaching staffs are connections for the most part. Roster-wise, obviously they have to do something, right?
Yeah.
The question is, can they find somebody who will actually make a difference or not without the expense of the core three? Because with Kleiman, to me, being cute around the edges, being cheap, letting other vets go, going doubling, tripling down on youth, it has kind of led to this fork in the road here where it might have cost you one of the core three to rebuild the perimeter, the rest of the rotation out, right? Like he might have screwed this up enough with guys, 5 through 9, where they have to get rid of their top 3 to rebuild 5 through 9. I just don't know. There's a lot of avenues that I think this team could do. The most likely to me is I bet you they stay about the same. Like I kind of expect them to stay the same. They're not going to take another first-round draft pick, right? They don't have one. Whoever that second round will be, will get super hyped about, right? And then it'll be interesting to see who that free agent person is, if they can get one. But I imagine 80 to 90% of the roster will probably be the same.
And that's the sad part is, as Kendarius Tolliver says right here, is playoffs are for men and not rookies. And that's really where it comes down to. If you're going to see in this next series with Oklahoma City and potentially the Clippers, I think we're going to see men go against some guys that are younger, not as long in the tooth. And at that point, you might see how their youth kind of really shows its head, because everything's going to get a little bit tighter, a little bit harder, just overall. But I'm not going to let you go out of here without letting you know that you are one of the Clear Eyes commercials, as King Meek says.
Well, no,
but
as
yes.
my final thing, my goodbye to everyone. It was fun with you all. Thank you for everyone tuning in. Obviously, I was very fringe, but to create and build a community of people is impressive. So congrats to you two. And so I know there will be a void left in entertainment. And hopefully I don't get hit by a plane as I'm walking down the street on the way to our friend's house today. But no, it's a lot of fun. I appreciate everybody in the chat. I mean, basketball is my favorite sport. I love being able to talk about it with smart people. So this was always a great time. So thank you to everyone for everything.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, listen, as everybody knows, I know that somebody asked, are y'all ceasing operations? Blessed City Media will be here. And we've been as clear as possible. We love doing the show. and without trying to make it sound in a bad way, we don't want to do this as a hobby anymore because we have families just like, Ryan as well. And so if we're going to be in, we want to be all in, but we also want to be, given the opportunity of being less of a hobby and more of something that we can say, hey, this is what we're doing in life, and receiving benefit from it on personal side. So I don't want to say too much negative stuff because we love Bluff City Media and what it really is. And so in the end of the day, that's how it is. But yes, Ryan, thank you. I know we'll not be able to look ahead to the next game. Not quite the same, but we'll be looking ahead without you for sure. But to you, thank you. I think that we found your niche within this brand is kind of doing the look ahead and being the smart guy, because me and Nate are not smart. But that's all we got. Thank you, Ryan. We'll see you next time if there is another time. We'll see.
Bye.
All right, so Ryan is out of here for sure, but we're going to continue on as we always do. Nate and I are still here. We'll share a little bit of our stories a little bit later on. And so, Nate, on that, I know I went back and watched our first episode on Bluff City Media the other night. One, I don't know if you knew this, I had a black eye. So my eye was like, and I don't think that was the first one. I could not find any other one, so I don't know what happened. But my eye was black, and I looked so young, and it was only 3 years ago. I had no gray hair in my beard. It was so funny.
Yeah, life moves fast, brother.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into the game because Noah says let's talk about the game.
Don't bring children.
So Noah, thank you. Noah's a OKC fan.
I feel like bringing children up can get you into trouble. Put the children photo down. This isn't Epstein's Island, Daniel.
The children photo? What are you talking about?
It's a child. Noah's a child.
Oh, that Noah person was a child.
Yeah, Noah's a child.
Sorry.
I'm just picking with you, dude. Hey, in honor of the last one, people like to pour one out with us.
Bookers? I'm not at home. I would have some bookers.
Been waiting for a reason to bring something nice out. Kill this bottle, and tonight was the night.
All right. Let's go. As Big Dice saying, go independent. Listen, we love Bluff City Media. If we're going to do it again, we'll probably go back with Bluff City Media. The problem is we're hoping that we get enough sponsors to the point of we can make this successful to where our wives will say, you know what? That's fine. Let's come in this together. Okay. So if that explains anything, it has nothing to do with Bluff City Media. It's just, is it going to be rewarding enough for us? Okay. We love Bluff City Media. Okay. Whatever.
By the way, if you only listen to us, you are so missing out. One, for Tigers 100%. Fans, there's so much on Tigers you need to check out. Two, you got a ton of great Grizz content from Anthony Sane's show to No Bluffin' show to $2 Sports, Daily Grind every day with Luke, who is as crazy as me. So it's awesome.
Dude,
there's so much to check out. Absolutely love Bluff City Media. If every show was at 4:30 in the afternoon, we would have a lot less explaining to do at home. But typically it's at 11:30. So that makes it a little bit tougher. But
Yeah. So that's the issue is it's late at night, whatever. Let's keep going on because I do want to get into the game as our friend Noah wants us to talk about the game. No thoughts on OKC just overall. I'm not worried about them in general, but let's go into our game tonight with our guys and SPJ. Double, 30 point, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. Dude ends up fouling out, which is so funny to me. Thoughts on Scotty, because I think, and I want to talk about him this game, but also I think every conversation should be spun to next year as well. And so you're talking about this season in this game, 30 and 11 and 4, but then next year, I didn't know what your thoughts on him being the actual true backup moving forward.
Dude, imagine him being able to just have to do a true backup role.
24 minute would be awesome.
And what's nice, and listen, we all love Tyus Jones. Like, I think there's a special place in our heart for most players on that team, but Tyus Jones, I think, takes an extremely special place in our hearts because he was like one of the re-signings that everybody absolutely loved. him and Ja on the floor together never quite worked. Like he was almost too much of a pure point guard and not enough of a potential go-to scorer to be that small next to Ja, and it worked. Scotty with Ja has worked, which drove credit. Honestly, I can't believe we're saying this. I'm saying this. Credit to the coaching staff. Drove me absolutely nuts at the beginning of the year. I'm like, can we play him without Ja on the floor at some point?
No
please?
way.
Now, granted, it was like the All Lives Matter offense, right? So that was part of the problem. But down the stretch of the season, they worked together really well. Like they worked together really well on the floor. And so you
I think because of his defense.
Because of his defense, which came a long way from Summer League and last year, but 2, because of sorry, allergies are in the air. But 2, because of his ability to be like a true scorer. Like he can be a bucket when he needs to be. He can knock down that outside shot really reliably. He can create on his own and for other people at the same time. It just all really works. So you get that plus the fact like, hey, they work really well together, but you can also just let them thrive in a pure backup role. That's been a revelation this season. One that I don't think either one of us really expected to be able to see. So it's been fantastic to see that. It's a shame that one team got to play football tonight and the other team didn't, because he would have been great to have him on the floor the entire game and other guys. But yeah, man, absolute revelation. He was awesome tonight, and that gives you a whole lot of optimism for him going forward.
No doubt. And to kind of piggyback off of what Keith's saying here is like this is the phrase of the season for him is the All Lives Matter offense. Listen, I don't remember a season with us. This is our 3rd full season, 2.5 over with Bluff City Media, but the All Lives Matter offense was a great phrase. Donged was a great word. I know there's some other ones.
Ryan's kids one thing. That's amazing.
So yes, it will be. There's so many good phrases and words that came out of this season that it's been very, very funny. This year is, I think, was by far our best year, content wise, just personally. Yes, girth was one of them. I forgot about girth. Look at that. So definitely, I love it.
I did not forget about that.
Scotty, I think that he's under contract for next season, so I'm not worried about that at all. I think Scotty will be someone that will be very much implemented in this offense. I don't think he's a guy that will get traded next season or during the offseason at all. I think he's a cheap backup, somebody that you have that is playing over his potential. There's no reason to trade him because what you can get back for him doesn't make sense unless he's like the piece that they want and you can throw in other pieces to get, whatever. But yes, that's what I'm looking at with Scotty. I think completely a dog. All right. We spent a lot of time on Scotty. So let's kind of roll it through a little bit faster.
It's still probably not enough. Great job, Scotty.
I agree. And that will be, and we'll talk about it. And yes, I do see a lot of your questions in here. I want to kind of stay on the same page and kind of roll through these guys first, because I do think it is important to get through a lot of this content just overall. Just like Keith's saying, who are y'all's untouchables this offseason? Let's get to that in that second half. So throw in your questions, anything you have, you hold that as well. No, you're not allowed to talk about it unless it's about Scottie Pippen Jr. What do you have? Put the finger down.
Nothing. It was supposed to be some foreshadowing, as the finger always is. I'm sorry. It was on a tee. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That might be my favorite joke. That might be my favorite joke in the entire season. Wow. I usually try not to break. That one got me.
That's the name of the show. That's the name of the show.
Desmond Bain. Real quick, 23, 5 and 5, 2 of 8 from deep, 7 of 20. Let's look at his turnovers. 5. What thoughts on
Dog.
old Bane?
Bane and Jaren cannot be non-factors for as long as they were tonight.
Yeah.
Like I'm sorry. Like if you're Desmond Bane, you're getting paid way too much money to be a complete zero until the end of the game. There was a point where, I mean, actually for most of the game, Jaren and Dez had more combined turnovers and field goals made. I don't know where it ended up. Dez hit that one shot late. Let's take a look. They ended up with 10 total turnovers. They were even. 10 field goals made, 10 total turnovers. And listen, like it's Jaren cannot be that much of a non-factor tonight. I have no excuses for Jaren. Zero. But I pointed out to last game, there's plenty of reasons why I thought Jaren struggled this series, most of which being, hey, nobody could get him the ball in the post. And for everybody saying he only goes to the three-point line, it's just not correct. Like tonight, he had somebody sealed beneath the basket and nobody got on the ball. And it just, like, that can't happen. Or I was saying, point to things for Jaren to say, hey, there's ways to be held. I'm looking at Dez. I'm like, dude, you're the go-to other guard.
Yeah.
You're on a max contract. Like, look at Jalen Williams for Oklahoma City. He's not their go-to guy. But they take SGA off the floor, and he takes over the game. I'm not saying Dez has to take over the game. I mean, on his contract, he really needs to. But I'm not saying that. But you can't be a zero, dude. It's crazy. That doesn't happen.
Yeah, so I think that if you look at Bane, like just overall, and somebody's deciding to cut down a tree somewhere behind me. So if you can hear a freaking chainsaw going on, that's what's happening. Hopefully, what's the guy's name from the Chainsaw Massacre? Jason. Hopefully Jason didn't come out here.
Not the same guy, but it's okay.
Not Jason?
No.
Jason
different horror franchises. You're good.
Same guy. Same guy to me. They're all scary. Bane, just overall, I think he was put in a bad position, just for the fact of like he was having to have the ball in his hands way too much, and at that's the problem is he needs to. And people talked about Jalen, Boston guy Jalen Brown was so much like that, like he could not dribble. Like that was the conversation going into him, and in all honesty, you end up winning a championship. And now I did not hear much about Jalen Brown this entire season about him not being able to dribble. So is it Jalen Brown learned how to dribble, or Jalen Brown won a championship so people just shut up? Like I think that they can go hand in hand, but I think that's what it comes down to. So I think Bane will be out in Eads somewhere in a gym working on his dribbling all season, because that's what's going to happen with Bane.
No, that's not what we want.
Why?
That's the exact opposite of what we want.
Why not?
The whole reason Desmond Bane struggled so much this year is because, hey, let's dribble. Let's play make. Desmond Bane, Desmond Bane, drive. No, the whole point is Desmond Bane is a shooter. He needs to get a shot. The dribble, Dez off the dribble should be the absolute last resort. It's because your shot is such a threat that other teams can't help but overcommit to you, and now you can get an open drive for no reason. Like, that's what you want with Dez. I don't need him to work on his dribble. I need the team to be a better function where he can be in his optimal role, which he's coming off screens, he's getting open shots, or it's a couple dribbles into the elbow, and then he's getting a shot there, he's getting a mid-range jumper, and then you can be a threat off the dribble because they're having to close out on you so hard.
Okay.
What I don't need is more 6 turnover games.
I'm not saying he should dribble more. I'm saying you tighten up those handles, and it should be a little bit better for him overall.
It's not going to happen.
He's going to be your second best ball handler next to Ja most games. Is he not?
That's part of the problem, Daniel. It's just not gonna, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's not gonna happen. He can, and he might get better off the dribble. For anybody,
dude, he's so good. Downhill Dez is so good.
Downhill Dez is a function of sniper Dez. That's the only time that happens. It's the only time. No, because everybody's like, downhill. You know why do you get downhill Dez? Because he's like 3 for 5 from deep. And this floor is space because you have other good players on the floor, which is problem number one. And then all of a sudden they have to overclose out. Now he can get downhill. That's what it is. It's not, okay, let's like have Desmond Bane driving and playmaking. He is never going to be that guy.
No doubt.
Never going to happen.
No doubt. Yeah, and at the end of the day, I love when Wayno's saying he's like kicking the ball downhill. Des, I love that. Wayno, we love you.
I love Desmond Bane. It's just not who he is.
Yeah, I get it. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think he's fine. He'll tighten it up. All right, let's keep it moving because I don't want to get too stuck on these guys too long. Jaren, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Jaren continuously, when he does not have the offense running through him, he continues to struggle. He was good without Ja. Ja gets back, he struggles. Ja leaves due to injury, and now he's struggling again. Jaren, just overall tonight, but in the future, like, is Jaren fine for you next to Ja?
Yes, for now. Yes. I mean, there's clear improvements that need to be made. Like, they have to be able to work better together. And they just don't currently. They just don't work well together. But the thing that's nice about Jaren is you have seen steps taken every year until now. And you can argue about what's taken too long, what hasn't taken too long, 100%. But the truth is, Jaren is now, like, you've seen Jaren be sort of peak powers Jaren. Like, he's been awesome for an entire season. Like, he was awesome all year long until the ankle injury. So, like, let's be really clear. The ankle injury was the time where everything started to fall off.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's clear, okay, he has to expand his game to be able to not be the focal point and still thrive. So what does that step look like? I'm not positive, but part of it's going to be a face-up game. Like, it can't be, hey, I'm going to get you on my elbow, and that's the only thing I can go to.
Yeah.
If you commit to that mid-range, which he has actually, I don't know what his he's probably taking 5 mid-range shots on the year, but I bet he's made 4 of them. It's like, it's not out of the realm of possibility. It's, okay, what do you do to thrive when you're not the focal point? And then you can't be the focal point at times still, which is exactly what you saw with like AD and LeBron when they won a championship. Like, AD wasn't the focal point, but he could be the focal point. But he thrived when LeBron was the focal point. Truth is, this team goes as Ja Morant goes, which is what we said all year long, even when Jaren was killing it. So, how do you thrive when Ja is the guy? And I still believe those steps can be made.
Yeah, I agree, and that's kind of where it comes down to me and me and Courtney Springer on the same spot. If you look at his post moves, they're more like he is a guard in the post, and he's trying to create than he's actually a post move. Everything on this team does. Nothing is. It doesn't seem that anything is with purpose. Just in general, it just seems like there's no point, and they're just in a roundabout way trying to get to their shot. There's no like, hey, I'm going to take you off the dribble, whether you like it or not. Like, I'm going to go around you. Which way do you want me to go? Do you want me to go right or left? And then I'm going to do it, whether you like it or not. Like, that's what it comes down to. If you look at, like, let's say Kawhi Leonard, he's going to do what he wants. You know what? If you take away something, he's going to go to something else. It's a pull up dribble and pull up shot if you take away his dribble drive. And so at that point, I think there's so much, of everything just in general, of what these guys can do. And so hopefully we see him develop continuously, because before the season, he did not have a lot that he had in the tank in the post game, but I think he will going forward. I think he'll have a little bit more in his tank.
I also think people underestimate what having a couple of veteran psychos will do to help Jaren's game.
Yeah.
You need some psychopaths on the game, because Jaren's never going to be a psycho. Like, he is Player Association Vice President Jaren Jackson Jr. Put some respect on his name. He's never going to be a psychopath, but it's the same reason you and me have worked. Like, you're not a psycho, but by God, when I told on psychopath Malik, like, you start going a little bit down the psychopath path as well. And so you get a little bit of psycho on that, and you get a little bit more mean, and Jaren, that'll help as well. Team's too soft. Team's too soft. You need more psychos.
Yeah. They definitely are too soft. All right, let's get to the last guys that were in the starting lineup because I don't think we need to talk about anybody on the bench. I don't think none of those guys will matter whether they're on the team next year or not. In all honesty, I don't. And then we'll take a quick break. We're going to hit a commercial for a second. One, I know I need to take a leak, and so do you. So real quick, last two, Aldama. Just overall on a 5 of 7 from deep tonight, 23 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. Aldama played a little bit better just overall. I'm curious if they bring him back. So real quick on Aldama, 2 minutes. Did you like the game from Aldama, and do you think they bring him back?
Santiago. And not because of how he played this game, because I sit there all last game and like Santi hasn't shown up for this. And he shows up and drops 23 and 9 tonight.
Yeah, he got you.
Got off, you. Santi. Get out of here, dude. Because now it's 100% going to give the front office that, I mean, Santi showed up when it mattered most. In a do or die game, Santi has 23 or 9 on an efficient game. Nah, man.
He says Santiago. That was funny.
I'm sorry. And it's not because of how he played great tonight.
Yeah.
He played really well tonight. I just don't buy it as a guy who you can rely on in the playoffs going forward.
Team Santiago. I love that. There's no way we can make that a part of the actual title of the show. But Spanish for goodbye. I saw Wayno said
adios. It's actually pretty easy. Goodbye. It's pretty easy translation. But
all right, last guy. We spent enough time on all these guys in general, but looking at where is it? Here it is. Courtney Springer had another one. 87 blocks. Really needs another true big man to learn from. You know, all of our big guys need somebody to learn from. But a team record, I think it was 7 blocks. I think it was a franchise record. And it might be just a playoff record. I'm not sure. But Edie tonight, 8 points, 8 rebounds. He had an assist. He was in foul trouble the entire night. Was Edie fine for you just overall?
Yeah, 100%. Okay. I had absolutely no qualms with Edie tonight. Again, I thought the whistle was super nip tuck on one end and not super nip tuck on the other end. So I thought he played well. I thought same thing we said all year. He's developed at a crazy rapid rate. Like, if you know nothing else about Zach Edey, he's going to work hard and he is going to learn and he's going to give you all you got. Yeah. And all that he's got. And so I thought he played fine tonight. I would love for him to be your backup center. Maybe a backup center gets a ton of minutes, but I would love to have a veteran center that has more years in the league.
Yeah.
Just would, because of who your star is. Like, your superstar is Ja Morant. For Ja Morant to be the best Ja Morant, a veteran center that has the savvy and the know-how and honestly the reputation within the league.
Yeah.
Like, Edey had some calls tonight that your veteran centers aren't getting. Right? And so having all that combined, I would love to have a veteran center to have Ja there, but I can't throw any kind of shade at Edey. I think he's had a great rookie year. He was just put in an impossible position.
Yeah. No doubt. And that's kind of where, I'm at. And Jenkins was not a big fan of his. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of his. But I think that you're looking at Edey, and he grew this season, and it would be a chance for him if he was a backup big. Like, he would grow in his game because he could use his fouls if he needed to. But also he could be more dominant and more and kind of not have to worry about playing within the flow of the offense just over. I think he could be a guy that really would excel in something like this. So overall, I think Edey will be fine going forward. Who knows if he's going to be on the team, but if you need to move on from him, so be it. But I just don't see how they keep Edey around and bring in another center. I think that they're going to keep Edey and make him the actual starting center moving forward.
Yeah. Agreed. 2 thumbs up. That's all I got for you.
I wanted to show this for all the Jenkins haters on here. Real quick, I got somebody coming over to say hello. And if anybody wants to say hello, all right, come over here, say hello, Margot.
I'll say hello.
Margot.
Hey, Margot.
Everybody say hello to Margot. She's coming over. Oh, looks like Penelope is coming over here too. So Penelope's going to come say hello real quick before we take a quick break. And then we're going to answer all these questions. So obviously Art's got this question of, would you move on from which players? All right. So Penelope, wave, say hello. Everybody saying hello. See the comments here. See, hi. Lauren says hi. DCC. Everybody wave hello. Look at it. Somebody called you a princess. Hi. All right. These are our girls. Thank you all for saying hello to them. They are the reason that we get to do this. Big time. So, anyway, so
your second family, girls.
Yeah, this is my second family. Anyway, who are all these people? These are the people that hang out with us every night. So after the Grizzlies game, yep, they do. All right, real quick. Thank you all for saying hello. My girls love the Grizzlies. My girls love that I get to do this.
Who's Team Dawn?
Team Don, Team Dan. I said Team Dan. My name is Daniel.
I thought she said team.
It's not Team Dad. Team Daniel. Anyway, all right. Nate requested a pee break, so give me a second. We're gonna take a quick break. Nate needs to go take a little tinkle, so we'll be back here in about a minute 17.
For you to fire Tay Jinx in 9 games left, I think there was to see what you got in 2 months. The only problem with that is I don't know if you really could judge these last 9 games in the playoffs. It's like that's not no time. And you really gave him his first head coaching job in the thick of the season.
I feel like he should be the prohibitive favorite to be the coach of next year. And I just at this point would think it's a mistake just because I want veteran teams and I want a veteran coach.
She is in like the worst possible situation for anyone to succeed in these last 8 games where it's like, hey man, we're going to see what we got in 8 games where you are fighting for your life, literally for playoff seeding. And you are also playing one of the hardest schedules the rest of the way.
Tune into the Daily Grind with your host, Lute Hatmaker, every Monday through Friday at 7:30 a.m. live on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
It was much shorter than expected. Clearly, I thought we had like two more ads left. First off, Art, kids here, doing the best that I can. We clearly have plenty of kids over here, but things have to happen that have to happen. But yeah, clearly a shorter ad than we thought we clicked on. Hello. I asked for permission to bring Teddy on, and I got to know, which is probably the smartest answer. Yeah,
no doubt. All right, let's keep getting through this a little bit. Margot's kind of keep it down the back. Thank you, ma'am. But let's. Anything else you want to say about this game, just overall, before we put a bow on it?
Nah, man. I really appreciated the fight that the team brought tonight. I'm be honest. I think I was with everybody else after game 3 when they laid down completely in the second half. I thought that they were going to lay down when this game came around as well. And was really proud of them to not lay down that game and to show some fight, keep themselves in it the entire time. Sucks because if they'd have shown just an inch of that composure in the last game, they would have won that by at least 12 points. Right. So, but listen, there's a lot of retooling that has to happen. I think we'll talk about it. Preseason, I think we both lived through the dark ages of the Grizzlies. So when we have teams that win 48 games and make the playoffs, despite the fact it was a bit of a torturous playoffs, always thankful to be able to watch this team and have a season with fun moments because it's not always how it happens.
Yeah, and that's the thing is you got to look at like, hey, it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows. It's not always going to be a team that's going to be championship worthy. I think this team had a chance. They didn't make enough of the necessary moves to be a championship level team. But overall, we move on from the season and kind of look ahead. And we're not going to do a full season outlook. I think we do that today. I think we keep it short and sweet. No reason to kind of beat around the bush at this point, as these girls are kind of already just
Taking
kind of
over the show.
Yeah, they're like, all right, bro, let's see, wrap it up. All right,
Yeah.
real quick, let's get through some of these kind of. There's obviously a ton of good comments, but I was asking earlier. Now that Ryan was out of here, he asked us very much earlier. Since you guys would be open to retool, would you trade Bain or keep Santi? Or would you trade Bain and then would you keep Santi? There's two different questions.
I would try and sign and trade Santi, which I think I've been pretty clear about. I think that should be the goal of Santi Aldama. Now, problem is that's one of Kleiman's shiny toys, so I have a hard time seeing them sign and trading him. That would be my goal. Bain, I would not trade right now.
Okay.
Honestly, because of some of the reasons that we talked about before, right? So some of the things that we talked about before was, please, God, please let Desmond Bain quit trying to take people off the dribble that are good defenders and be a playmaker. Because there's bleach in the laundry room, and it keeps tempting me every time he tries to take Alex Caruso off the dribble. But I don't want, so I don't want that. At the same time, we've seen Desmond Bain be the difference maker in a playoff series.
Yeah.
Make no mistake, when they played the Minnesota Timberwolves, Desmond Bain was the playmaker, like the difference maker when they decided to take away John Morant. Him and Brandon Clark are the reasons they won that series. So, I'm not ready to give up on Desmond Bain. I think it'd be silly to. Now, if you end up building well around them and Desmond Bain still cannot elevate this team, then it's a different conversation, right? But for now, I would not trade Bain. I would try and sign and trade Santi. That would be my moves.
Yeah, so I would actually bring both of them back if you could get Santi on a decent contract. I think that's kind of where we're stuck at. I think that's where everybody's stuck at this point is, can you get Santi back on a decent contract? I think it has to be under 12 million. No way I'm going over 12 million for Santi. Like at that point, this guy is good. I think he's a good 8th guy on your team. And I think he could be in some games a good 4th guy on your team, maybe even 3rd. But he's not on a consistent basis. He's going to be your 8th best player on your team. And that's okay with me, especially for 12 million. I'm okay with that. And so at that point, we'll see just overall, but I do think that we'll see Santi back on this team. Just, kind of in the future. All right. This is the next one. I don't even know if it has anything to do with it. I'm sorry. It was a good comment. So we're going to get back to that. We're going to go to that one. But Big Die's asked a question. No post-game show for Grizzlies online next year. So I'm guessing he's talking about Bluff City Media. I know there's a new Grind City Media post-game show that has started. They have to start 30 minutes after the show is over, after the game is over. So they can't start immediately. Things could change. I love the people over at Grind City Media, so I will never say anything negative about them.
Yeah.
Okay. Our show is better. It always will be 100% of the time. And I know that honestly, with a little backing, the show could be even better.
Let me get back to Memphis. Let me get out of Honkyville, USA, which I've been trying to do for years now, to be honest. I hate it here. But I'm like, just let me get back to Memphis.
Yeah. So, so maybe you never know. All right. So I have a question. My daughter has a question. So I'm going to put her on a different audio. And this is off the rails already. So I apologize to everybody. But she just came out here and asked me if she could ask a joke. So this is Penelope. Penelope, say hello to everybody.
Hi.
Hi. This is Penelope. All right. I can't hear you for some reason.
I'm not making any noise.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
That's why.
You didn't make a noise. All right. So she's got a joke. She says, "What's up?"
What's a teacher that doesn't toot in front of people?
What's a teacher that doesn't toot, fart in front of people? Call. Does anybody know?
Let me think. Let me think. Don't give me the answer yet.
Wayne says, "I better not catch Nate on a Utah post-game show."
No, do not let them lock me up in this town. If you see me on a Utah postgame show, someone come save me. Don't let me get stuck here. Don't let me get stuck here. I don't know the answer, Penelope. I don't know. I tried. I can't think of one.
A private tutor.
A private tutor. Pretty good.
I'm actually laughing, and that makes me sort of upset.
Anyway, yeah. So my wife's obviously a teacher. Well, I guess not to everybody, but my wife's a teacher, so she's used to those jokes, and so they love telling dad jokes a lot, just in general. But all right, let's keep growing. Art says, "Go get Ty Jerome." I think you're the one that highlighted this, maybe not, as a free agent or trade for Anthony Black. Did you say this?
Yeah, I saved that. I had no idea Ty Jerome was a free agent. Yeah, I'd throw that dude some money. No idea who's a free agent. I looked through the entire free agent list the other day, and somehow I missed him. They do it by current salary, so I'm guessing he was just at the very bottom. And I didn't see that because it was a pretty minimal contract. Yeah, Keith is absolutely right. Ty Jerome is getting paid, and I would not be mad if it was Memphis paying him.
Really?
Yeah, dude. I have been crazy impressed with him this year. I've watched a few Cavs games outside of Memphis. Obviously, I've watched him in the playoffs, but that's not really what I've seen him. Man, Cavs definitely cannot keep him with some of the contracts that they have. Memphis, to be honest, it's going to be tough for Memphis to get him with the contracts that they have, right? But yeah, I would love to see Ty Jerome on Memphis. Crazy where he's come from. Crazy the advances he's made.
Let's keep rolling through these. I got more brewskis to drink with the family, and I need to eat some Corky's barbecue. Shout out Corky's, call us. You could bring us back. Keith's asking a question. What's your untouchables next season? You put up the one earlier.
John Morant.
One guy. That's it?
John Morant. I mean, you have to get the deal of a lifetime for Jaren and an absolutely incredible return for Desmond Bane.
Yeah.
Ja's the only one. Pippen's not an untouchable because there's so many spots you need to upgrade.
Yeah.
That Scottie Pippen, he's done so much good for you. It just like he's not the need. Also, I don't think you have to worry about the market for Pippen. Like if somebody's taking Pippen off your hands, then they are like giving you the Midas touch of what they're bringing you outside of that. Okay. I mean,
the Midas touch?
Everything that they're sending you is gold. Everything they're sending you is gold if you're coming off of Pippen. Because otherwise, like, what are you going to get? What's a marginal upgrade that you're willing to trade Pippen for? Nothing, right? Jalen Wells is movable. Vince Williams is movable.
Everybody
outside of that. Listen, the way that this season ended and the way that this series went, which is, I mean, I would much rather this team be going in back to Oklahoma City right now and the series be 3-1 or 2-2.
Right.
At the same time, the blessing out of getting swept 4-0 and the season ending the way that it ended is you can't look at this roster and not be like, okay, everything is on the table. Everything's on the table. And to be clear, like in my mind, I put John Morant on the table, but it just takes me 0.5 seconds to be like, yeah, John Morant's off the table. Like that's it. So yeah, I think there's a ton of people that can help you going forward. Ja's the only one that you're like, yeah, there's
right.
Like, unless you get like the Luka Doncic type trade, but part of that also is like, hey, you want to be able to root for your guy all the time, right? And Ja is Memphis, has been Memphis. You want him to be Memphis all the way. Something special about that.
Nope, I agree. And who's Wayne was asking a question about Zion Pullen. Zion Pullen was on a G League contract. So if anybody's wondering why Zion Pullen was on the roster, he was on the G League roster. You can't sign a vet because G League players can't actually play in the playoffs, and so that's why you can't. All right, so Margot is here now. Margot wants to tell a joke. Since now this has become tell a joke time. So Margot, what is your joke?
What did the wall say to the other wall?
What did the wall say to the other wall? That's
I'm
what your
lost.
question was?
All
All right. What did the wall
know
say
this
to
one.
the other wall? Anyone?
Not a clue. I'm not even gonna
I'll
try.
meet you in the corner.
I'll meet you in the corner.
God dang it,
One
dude.
wall, corner, one wall.
Oh my God.
Get
All
it?
right. Yes, we get it, Margot. Thank you.
Get it.
All right. All right. Let's start wrapping this thing up. We do have a few. John Wall. That was pretty good. All right. Let's go ahead and get through these last comments, and then we'll get out of here. Wayne wants to know: will you guys be in the comment section from time to time? Obviously, Nate's less than I am, but yes, I'll definitely be here.
I'm not an internet guy.
All right. And I think Art's got another question. Jaren can be used for a deal of a lifetime. Bane, Jaren, GG picks for Giannis. Would you say no?
By himself, I probably say no. Now, if you did Jaren plus GG plus picks, yes. Or if you did Bane plus GG plus picks,
So you're saying not
Probably.
two of the core three. But
I don't
one of
think
the core three, you're good.
I don't think you can. I think you just get so drained that Ja's not enough of a perimeter threat for that to work how it needs to work. Because you got two paint dominant players and ball dominant players, essentially. Now, in the pick and roll, they would be lethal, right? Now, that would be amazing to see together, but it sort of drains you of assets to one, it drains you of what you have on the perimeter already, but two, the ability to upgrade what you have on the perimeter.
Yeah.
Outside of that, that's what makes that really tough. But if you could get just one of those guys, and then if you get Jaren and Giannis on the same roster, that's not working in my opinion. I think
that's pretty tough.
that's not going to work very well. But then you could potentially flip Jaren for something that works really well. You get a really great package back for him, and then you build around John Giannis, which would be pretty awesome.
Well, I think if you did that, you would have to trade Jaren for Giannis. That would be my opinion. If you're gonna have to trade Jaren because you're doing that trade, I think you just do that trade one-on-one then. Right. I think it's the same thing. It's actually probably better. You probably get more value for Jaren than you would Bane.
For sure. But that's in the world of Neverland, in my opinion. I don't think
no doubt.
I don't think that's a realistic option at this time.
All right. I'm trying to look through this last one. New coach. Is there anybody that you would want? And would you want to keep what's his face? Isolo?
No. I think I said a couple weeks ago. Somebody said I love the new coach, and I said I love interviews. Is that what I said? I love coaching interviews. No, I think Isolo. Isolo. I was thinking Mike Malone, Isolo at the same time. Isolo could be a truly good NBA coach. This team doesn't need a rookie coach. I saw someone say, what would be the name? If you can name a name earlier in the comments. This is obviously not a gettable name. It would be Ime Udoka. That would be the name I would go get for this team. Yeah. Who along that vein can you go get? That is hard-nosed, culture builder. You need a cultural reset for this team. Who can do that? I don't think it's Isolo. That's why I'm out on Isolo. So who is that?
A lot of people say Sam Cassell for sure. Upgrading the GM would be a start. But yes, Isola would be definitely a goner for me, but I don't know if that's actually going to happen. Keith likes Mike Malone. We'll see.
Not the worst
all
game.
Right. Do you think the Grizzlies regret going to the playoffs and not losing that Friday night to keep the pick?
No.
Yeah.
No. One, don't be losers.
Yeah.
Like that's like losing and wanting to lose sucks. And I get everybody that wanted to lose. I'm not trying to piss on people who wanted them to lose and in the play-in and get their lottery pick back. It makes a lot of logistical sense, but I think you and me have talked about this a little bit. There's too many nerds running the show in a lot of different places.
Way too many nerds.
And there's something about losing on purpose that just like does not fly. Right. And so part of what you get out of this too is you get to see, okay, what's going to happen when you get to the big stage. And you got to see Scottie Pippen. Like that is a true fruit of making it to the series. You got swept. It sucks. Like that was a miserable series, especially with the John Moran injury. So much of that sucks. But now you get Scottie Pippen and you say, okay, Scottie Pippen's here for it. And you also get to see everybody else and be like, okay, Desmond Bane did not elevate the team when it mattered the most. Jaren did not elevate the team when it mattered the most. Now you're going against a crazy good team. Let's be really clear. Now, again, is allowed to play football. So take that for what you will. But you get to see a lot of guys who did not do what you need them to do. And you got to see at least one guy do exactly what you would hope for. Like best dream scenario for Scottie Pippen. So gives you a chance to truly evaluate and then see where you need to go from here.
Okay. All right. Last question, and then we'll get to our goodbyes. But do we need to apologize to Jake and Zaire?
God, no. Get out of here, Smooth Southpaw. What are you talking about? Jake was home long before the rest of the Grizzlies. Jake was home before that team went home. Like, listen, Jake had his revenge moment. Good for him. I'm not a Jake hater. I flipped the switch on Jake LaRavia this year. He would have been extremely helpful to the team so far. But being extremely helpful to the back end of this Memphis Grizzlies rotation is not bragging rights. I'm sorry. Like, Zaire had some spotty good minutes for a team that was always trying to figure out where they were going to land in the lottery. I'm good, Smooth Southpaw.
No doubt.
That's bait.
I'm not worried about those.
I took it for a second, but that was bait.
We should have let go of them a while back. We probably not saying we held them too long because I think we end up being able to move them on when they need to be moved. But
should have drafted Trey Murphy and not traded Anthony Melton.
Yeah,
that's what we should have
drafted. Done. Yeah, stupid. All right. Yeah, so everybody knows our plan is to be done after this show. This will be it, kind of moving forward. So there's been a new report just popped up. The priority in Memphis now shifts to finding a new head coach from Bobby Marks. Listen, I don't know what they're going to do, but it could be Isolo, but I hope not. Avery Davis wants to know, no Grizz Trivia. No, there wasn't no Grizz Trivia at all. But our plan is to be done and kind of move on. If for some reason we decide to go back with Bluff City Media, is due to us just kind of, finding a deal that works for everybody. But Nate, your thoughts, one on the season, but any wrap-up thoughts just overall?
Bad timing for me to see the tweet that I saw.
Oh, God.
Listen, shout out to the No Bluffing podcast. Shout out to Crib Man, who's Grizz 901 OG, by the way. That's who got me. Chris is awesome, man. One of our original guys. But listen, man, it was a bit of a torturous season, but I feel like that is part of what's being a fan.
Yeah, no doubt.
If you're not slightly tortured as a fan, then you're not a true fan. Like, even OKC fans right now, like the real ones, not Noah, who again was a child. So I don't want to pick on him too much. Child. But even Noah is probably sitting there thinking, man, this series was close to being 2-2. Like, we got to really think about this. And that's a team who just went 4-0 and is heavily favored to win the West, whether I agree or not.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be a little bit tortured if you're a true fan of a team. It's part of being an irrational sports fan. It was fun, man. We got to see big moments this season from John Morant. We got to see Jaren Jackson be what we've always hoped Jaren Jackson would be for a vast majority of the season. We got to live both sides of the Zach Edey hive, where it was like, hey, man, Zach Edey sucks. Zach Edey can't do anything for you. And on the other side, man, Zach Edey was a monster in that game. Zach Edey's really developed. That's part of it, man. I think we come out here, and with the reason this show has been so much fun, the reason it's successful, the reason people want to come here, we built sort of a second family, is because you can be honest here and be a fan here. And I think we've gotten to do that. We've gotten to have the highs and the lows and then come out happy the other side. So it was not the ideal last season. The ideal last season is lifting a trophy above your heads. At the same time, it was a fun last season, man. It's been a great time.
And that's the thing is, and I don't want to, we'll never say never, because that'd be stupid to say, hey, we're not going to be back next year. We do not expect to be back. The only way we'll be back is if we cut a deal that makes sense for us and our families, which is the most important part, right? We've talked about that many times. But overall, like, our idea was to continue to do this forever. But we both knew that we're both getting older. we got kids. We got to be fair to our wives of not being in bed late at night doesn't make sense all the time. And so that's why we had to make the decision. But if for some reason that we decide that next, like, we can come back next year, which at this time, like, we're being honest, there is no deal that's bringing us back next year at the moment. Like, there is not. Just completely transparent as possible. If for some reason something does happen where we can, then you'll be the first to know. We'll let everybody know. Yeah, I think what we've created here has been awesome. I think it's allowed everybody to kind of come in here after a game and just kind of vent in a safe space, to the point of being a true fan and saying the dumbest things I've ever seen in a chat being said, to not everybody judging Astronomo, to jumping off of a cliff multiple times after a game, to everybody making fun of each other in a sense of a good camaraderie kind of style thing. And to just kind of making everybody just kind of, be more of a fan and kind of accepting everybody, and mainly just making fun of Ryan. The Grizzleverse might have been, Lauren saying the Grizzleverse. Yeah, that could have been a swing and a miss. I definitely got in trouble for that one. But all in all, I do believe that you all in the chat, just in general, thank you for allowing us to create the community that y'all have allowed to be just fun. And I think that's what it all comes down to is, listen, this show is completely stupid. This means nothing to anybody, just in general. It means something to us, probably less to our wives, just overall, as my wife sitting, roughly 10 feet from me, probably eye rolling. And now she's looking at me, which is not a good thing. Yes, I do think that it's allowed us to kind of have fun and kind of be stupid, but also it's allowed you all to kind of accept each other. And yes, as DCC Nashville says, we do love stupid. So it's been good. Somebody did ask a question, and I don't know. I want to ask the twofold question, and then we'll end it. Favorite moment from the season, favorite moment from the show, just in general.
The show. I got to think about that one.
I know. I'll answer my favorite moment from the season after you answer your favorite moment from the season if you got here.
Yeah. Actually, I cannot believe this. I get that comment back up because we want to bring it back up. I can't believe the person I'm going to go with on this. I'm going with the Goons moment. I saw this a second ago, and I was like, that is legitimately my favorite moment from the season. Was the job baseline double pump against Boston. And then they won that game. So I was like, that is the moment where you say, okay, can we compete with the best of the best? And I was like, yeah, man, you've got this. And then clearly the season didn't go how we thought it would from that moment. But that was when I was absolutely at my highest of highs when it came to the Grizzly season. And it's hilarious that Kuhn is the one that's comment gets brought up for that. So go ahead and bring B. Carter's comment back up. But that is 1,000% my favorite moment from the season.
Yeah. Favorite from the season, and it's very tough for me. I don't know, man. The more I thought about it, the less I could figure out what made sense to me just overall in the season in general. I'd say that the Grizzlies went on a stretch for a while and they started winning a lot of games. That always helps. But there's not like a moment for me this year. And I know that's weird. I know there's moments of Ja doing the pump fake where he goes up and under like you were talking about. Like that is, and I know last year there was so many different moments, but I don't know of any moment in my mind that sticks out this season. It's probably a Jitty double-double somewhere that I remember the most. Jitty, real quick. Jitty tonight. How many rebounds did he end up having? Jitty had 6 rebounds. Probably my favorite moment. Jitty playoff minutes, 6 rebounds. I don't have a favorite moment at all from the season, and I know that's stupid and a cop out. I don't like. I think this season was very forgetful, which is bad. Yeah.
There's only a couple of moments.
Yeah, which is sad.
Truly. Yeah. And then like the moments you would have had got ripped from you, like the 3 back-to-back buzzer beaters. You didn't get a single moment out of that. You should have had the Ja moment in the Knicks game. Yeah. That should be one of them, and it's just gone. Again, that's part of the reason that moment's gone, and Taylor went with it. But yeah,
right, from the show, favorite memory from the show, just in general. It's gonna be hard to do that one, but overall, and then we'll get out of here.
I don't know. We've gotten in trouble a few times. One of those is our favorite.
I've gotten in trouble so many times.
You have gotten in trouble more than I've gotten in trouble. I wonder. Some of those are fun though. One in particular stands out, but I'll be the bigger person and not go into that. The suit and ties for the draft shows were always great. Maybe Grizz 901 or not. If we get invited back, I'll put on a suit and tie for a draft show. That was always fun. But I think the one that stands out was honestly, it was a loss. There was a loss against Boston either last year or 2 years ago. It was a game that, ironically enough, Santi was popping. Like Santi was having the game of all games against Boston. And at the very end of the game, I can't remember, the Grizz had a chance to either tie it on a 3 or go ahead on a 3 at the very last second. They had a transition game. Or transition break, and it was either Bane took the 3 and should have passed it to Santi. No, I think it was actually Santi took the 3 and Bane open in the corner if he'd have dished it. It was one of those where like, hey, if he'd have thrown it to Bane, that was the right move to make. But at the same time, you kind of understand he's been the best player on the floor most of the game taking the shot. But after that, it was a combination of worlds. Like I was at my in-laws' house. There was a whiteboard behind me that my wife literally used when she was like 5 years old. Playing now, and I was drawing up fake plays on the draft board during that game. Yeah. I remember being like really proud of the team that moment because Ja was out and the team hung around, like played their hearts out. It was one of those losses where it's like, hey, you did what you should do, and you just came up short. Yeah. And I love that show. And it was a combination of worlds for me. So that stands out because it was Grizzlies basketball through and through. And I got to kind of combine everything I love into one moment. That's what stands out to me.
I like that one. I think it's and everybody else sharing their kind of favorite moments. The trade deadline, everyone being baffled. Yes, that was definitely I won't say it's a favorite of mine because I'm baffled for the fact
I'm still mad about it, actually.
Yeah. Somebody just asked if the show was around Yeah, so Keith asked, was showed around when we kicked Golden State out of the play-in. So if it's within the last 3 years, were we not? So it was
No,
4 years
I
ago?
was not a part of the show at that point because that was right before we moved west. I was still in Memphis at that point.
Okay.
I
so then, no.
accidentally ripped
no.
one of my friend's blankets during that show that his grandmother made him from scratch.
Wow.
Fun fact.
You're an angry. You're an angry off.
I get a little bit into the games.
I will say this is my favorite season, just in the way that the donged comment was pretty funny. That word stuck around so long, and I said that earlier. The girth comment stuck around so much. The all lives matter comment stuck around all season.
And somebody hit you with the TWS on Twitter, didn't they?
Yeah, somebody said
hit you with the TWS.
Yeah, they used different words, but yes, pretty much it was the TWS, the tiny something syndrome.
Tiny wiener syndrome. I'll say it.
Tiny wiener syndrome, whatever. Yeah, somebody said that one time. That was a good moment. I think all the sayings and the slogans are always my favorite. I don't know about a favorite show. That's not, I don't think a favorite show of mine, just in general. But I will say the favorite shows of mine were always when you went crazy and just would like bring up. I think one of my favorite ones have been the glasses thing, when you just kind of, you're rational, positive thinker, which is pretty funny, or just the random stuff. The snow globes I'll miss. The other things I liked as well, and then and you're back with those glasses.
These glasses.
Those glasses.
These glasses. I'm just gonna keep an eye on them. Apparently, they're positive glasses.
And then Ryan's internet was always a joke. Oh, this is my favorite show. This is my favorite show. I do have one. My favorite show. We were together. I don't know if you remember this. We're at my house doing a show together. Do you remember who we interviewed?
I do not remember who we interviewed.
So we interviewed Tom Izzo. Remember, we called. Tom was on the phone with us, and we interviewed him and held it up to the mic while we were together. One, I think it was my first time meeting you in person, which was always, it's cool. Yeah. But two, we had Tom Izzo come and do the interview on the phone, to which I was going to have Tom Izzo as there's two ducks walking up behind me. But yes, Tom Izzo was going to come on the show if we were able to extend it into next week. But unfortunately, we did not. So no Tom Izzo interview this year.
So sad.
He was busy. I don't remember what award he was, but I was told that he was not around. So but that's it. Final thoughts, last thing you got, and then we'll get out of here. It's been long enough, and I need another beer probably.
Man, I am excited for next season. I think there's a lot of change coming to the organization. Some that I have been explicitly more pushing than others until as of late, a lot of people have hopped on that train. But man, it's a lot of fun. And for anyone who's been a Grizzlies fan for a long time, there's so much to love about Memphis Grizzlies basketball. The majority of it is the heart of the team, which in fairness has been missing at points this season.
Yeah, no doubt.
At the same time, we've got more talent than this team has ever seen. And you're so close to being able to really push it at the highest level. Like, we're talking about the Clippers giving Oklahoma City a run for them. I would actually take the Clippers in that series again. The Clippers are not as talented as Oklahoma City. It's just about putting the right pieces together. The Grizzlies are right there. So super excited for next season. Gonna miss this experience. Gonna miss this family a ton if we're not able to bring the show back. It's hard to kind of put into words, honestly. Like, listen, none of y'all got nothing on my kid. I'm gonna walk out there and see my kid in a minute and be super happy. But I was trying to put it into words to my wife the other day. I was like, man, I just don't even know how to express why it makes me sad to think about leaving this family behind. But everyone in the chat, everyone that comes in here every game, from Wayno to King Meeks, Black Ninja DJ, Art, Astronomo, Goon, Greer, the Edie Hive that hated me for quite a bit of the season.
We didn't see Greer tonight.
I know we didn't see the Edie Hive tonight, but honestly, y'all are what makes the show go. It's what's made it go the whole time. It's the only reason there's a potential of this show going on at all.
True.
Somewhere in the ether. So truly, it's much love to y'all. Can't wish y'all any more than the best going forward. And honestly, going to miss this a ton if we're not able to do it again. So it's been super fun ride, and trust me, we will be visible somewhere at some point, even if it's only on the interwebs and it's Daniel and me replying to him.
True, no doubt. Yes, thank you all for hanging out with us. The seasons are always long, and they're taxing, especially during the playoff times, because I know many a times I am out of the bed. My wife, goes to bed, early, 8:30 usually. And she's in the bed when games are starting before playoff games are starting at 8:30, 9 o'clock local time. And so, watching the games and hanging out, and then we do the show after the 2.5 hours, and then I get back in bed, and literally that's time missed. And that's what we try to make. And that's the reason we're choosing not to, or if we do end up coming back, there's a reason that brings us back at that point. So, but all in all, listen, we enjoy this. We wouldn't do it if we didn't enjoy it. We would not be a part of this overall if we did not enjoy it. So we do appreciate you all for allowing us to hang out. And I know a lot of it is the show is built on the community in itself and these damn flies. But all in all, there's no words we'll put, and who knows what the future is. But there's no words to say that, any of the thankfulness of just kind of hanging out and just being friends and just being a good community that you all have built. It's not really us. We're just here. You all kind of came together and just, we're good people to each other. So, but that's all we have. I'm not going to belabor the point. We've had a great time. This show's went on for much longer than I expected, but that's all we got. It's going to be a good time. Listen, we haven't been around for a long time, but definitely always a good time here. But Nate, always good having you around on the show for sure. I'm glad we were able to bring Ryan on. I wasn't sure we're going to be able to have him at some point. He's like, listen, I got to go. But he gave us 5 minutes of his time. But that's all we have. We'll see you all maybe next time. If not, thank you. We'll see you around. Be nice. Tell your friends.